What's up, guys? Vince Ruddy here, back using the facility, or basically their office pods. Never thought I would be back here. Haven't been back here since I did the whole has been hotel review thing, and basically with I just want to share this. It's not a story, but I hate doing those reviews in these office pods. I couldn't focus, and I tried to do it at home, and it was way much better. I was a bit more in my element of actually talking about that series, and when it comes to here and using these pods and being stared at, I couldn't do it. But basically, yeah. Also, shout out to the ones that I meet at I had my final class, so shout out to the ones that were subscribed. I'm not even sure they're here. Okay, I'm not sure if anyone that was within my, what is it called, critical ethnicity or something class. If any of them, like, shout outs to you that are subscribed or not. It's totally cool. I don't force people to watch my stuff at all. If anything, I'm not even active here. It's just a place where the thing is that when it comes to down to a social media holder, or handle something like that, you know how people like show their number, like, hey, this is my number, this is my Instagram. I just showed it my YouTube channel. I'm like, this will be less weird. Here you go. You want to hang, chill? Listen, I have a channel. It has all my social medias, okay? My Instagram account, Discord. There you go. It's totally up to them, by the way. But yeah, hope everyone's doing good. Let's talk about the Game Awards. So pretty much the Game Awards just happened. I wanted to talk about it yesterday as I'm recording this because I was at home. And the thing is that I was planning to react some of it. I couldn't. I was just too tired. And especially just having I was gonna record just my usual VinzTalk without the Game Awards. But the Game Awards happened already, and pretty much it's as I was like really thinking about it, I'm like, I might as well do it at the pod here. So here we are as I'm doing this recording and just, giving my authentic the way that pretty much anyone else is going to be talking about the Game Awards, which is basically me telling you about announcements that I seen or different awards that were shown. I can't really save myself to tell you about the predictions and stuff like that. Me and Stefan did the predictions, and pretty much we made a video of it. And I guarantee he probably forget about it. I don't know if he saw the Game Awards. I wouldn't count on him ever seeing the Game Awards. Can I just share this? I don't know if he's gonna see this. I just have to share it. There is this, and he probably already knows. There's this Christmas present that I want for him. And maybe it's because it's for myself, but I'm planning to get fun a gaming handheld thing. I have a gaming handheld. It is an Ambernick. In some ways, almost like a mini PC, at least I call it, but it's not. It's just a place, it's an emulation handheld. I have all my games in there, all the classics, and I'm planning to actually get one for Stefan, but there is a part of me where I know he doesn't play games. There's a part that it's going to be a waste, but also I don't even know what else he does. So it's like, I want to get him that game handheld thing, but I know that it's not going to be worth it at all. But the thing is that it's not even. So I'm trying my best to find something that is highly affordable or something, at least below 100 or 50, that I can get him this handheld so he can actually be a little bit more tapped in gaming. And if anything else, I probably might be creating like a habit for him in the future. I don't know. It's something in my mind. I'm in this process of getting Christmas gifts for my family and friends. So that's been going on. But yeah, back to the gaming awards. Speaking of gaming. So yeah, Jeff was going through it. He didn't have a good, year of this, specifically this year. For those that don't know, early this year, January, there's so many houses burned to the ground, and sadly his house was, burned to the ground, and that's what he was going through. Also, he said something like a family member passed away. I don't know if it was his father. I didn't like thoroughly listen, because I was also watching through all of this with a reaction, specifically Hypnotic. So I was watching their perspective of the Game Awards. But, prayers to Jeff. He sounds like he's going through a lot. That's, yeah, that has to be hard. Two tragedies that happen. And I guess that Jeff, in many ways, is not a religious person, but hopefully God has his back. But yeah, other than that, let's talk about the Game Awards, because let me tell you, it was a clean sweep for Claire Obscure. And they won. The, you know, of course, I'm going to talk about the spoilers. They won the Game Awards. And they pretty much sweep through, each award. It was like 9, 10 awards that they got or something like that. It was literally like France won. The French has won the Game Awards because Claire Obscure is from France, and pretty much just based in French lore or mythology or something like that. I don't know. People are gonna be very surprised when I say that I never played Claire Obscure. I played so many indie games, but one of those indie games is Claire Obscure. And the thing is that I don't know if I count it. If the game doesn't run well in my PC, I don't know if I would consider that an indie game for me. And I don't know if that's gonna start some debates here and there. Here's the thing: I don't have a good PC, guys. And laptops are just expensive. We're talking about in the thousands. You're kidding me? It's like you might as well get a new house. That's what it feels like. And when it comes down to a laptop or a PC, a good rig, it's gonna cost you big amounts. So, and I don't know what Claire Obscure. The thing is that when it comes to games like that, I'm not really into it. I'm more of a plug and play type of person. And maybe at some point I do want to check out Claire Obscure Expedition 33, but I don't have the rig for that. I don't know. Some people might correct me. I just get this feeling like if I was telling this into a crowd of real gamers or something like that, they'll be like, no, dude, it's gonna run your PC. Don't worry. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. But the thing is that I've been having a poor PC for the longest time. I've just been playing games that actually could not break my PC. And even with certain indie games, I still get a blue screen. So if I'm gonna play Expedition 33, I guess I have to wait till I have enough money to get a Steam Deck or something, if I gotta be real. And pretty much moving on. There was a couple of announcements of certain games here and there, and also movie announcements, especially the Street Fighter cast being announced at the Game Awards. That was crazy. We got Andrew Schultz, Jason Momoa, Lucy Liu. There was like a good amount of these. I feel like they just have already a connection or something. I just felt that it's like a different type of family that is showcased at the Game Awards through the cast for Street Fighter. It was the coolest thing. It was many people that are probably divisive to certain people or not, but also, maybe I'm talking about like Andrew Schultz. I mean, there were so many people that were basically base instead of in the industry sense of the idea of green or something. Like Smash JT was there, and nothing really happened to him. I don't think I'm just thinking did a revo? I wonder if certain other celebrities that usually disagree with Smash JT's takes, political views or something like that, would ever notice him. But I guess not. He was just, I mean, then again, it's all about keeping it low key, I guess. And well, he was safe. That's all I can say. But it was interesting. I was like, okay, I guess anyone else is allowed at the Game Awards. Maybe there's a certain, because I heard Smash actually worked in games or something like that. So maybe that's kind of tied into it in a sense, maybe. But yeah. Also, that Badger game looks cool. I wanted to check that. That looks nice. And there was no Half-Life 3 announcement. People were just talking about that. And I'm not a Half-Life person. I was playing Half-Life, the first Half-Life. And on the emulation system. And pretty much something happened with the save when I was trying to update my PS2 emulator, and it's just gone. So it wiped out memories, and now I have to start all over again with freaking Half-Life 1, so that's just great. But yeah, other than that's my only experience of Half Life. Other than that, I haven't really experienced much when it comes down to Half Life. So that's just great. And what else we got? Also, Ace Combat is back. That is crazy. Ace Combat is back. We also got an announcement for Divinity, whatever that freaking demonic tree thing in Joshua Tree in the middle of California. Like the what is that? You know what I mean? So we got an explanation of what that is, and it's still demonic. Zenless was cool. I mean, there's so many anime games that were, there and they look cool. I mean, even Genshin in some ways. Some certain stuff here and there with Hoyoverse, and I do like these anime games. I was hoping to get some announcements here and there with the GTA style anime game that has been pretty much in a lot of people's feeds when it was first announced. I haven't seen any news about that. And, there was people like, especially in the reaction that I saw, they were like talking smack about like these certain anime games and stuff like that. And I'm just like, but it still looks cool. you know? Other than that, what else did I see? Oh yeah, Orbitals. It looks like a Ghibli game in a sense. Looks like Split Fiction, but by Ghibli Studios. That looks cool. Also, Moist Critical won for Best Content Creator. And there was a part of me where I swore I saw someone else won Content Creator, but I guess not. Whereas I show Speed. I know he's too busy fighting with that Rizbot or something. I don't know what that's all about. And yeah, also Miss Piggy. What the heck is going on with these scenes and these like different skits and quips and stuff like that? Specifically in the Game Awards, well, with Jeff on stage, you got Miss Piggy trying to holler at try to holler at Jeff. I'm like, what is happening here? Who write this? What in the bestiality is going on? Like, you know what I mean? Like, okay, Miss Piggy. Like, I don't remember Sesame Street being this suggestive, but whatever. We're adults here, I guess. People that actually grew up with Sesame Street guarantee that they're old, but at the same time, it's still weird. You know what I mean? I was like, what the heck are you doing? I was like, you remember my Bora Bora? I was like, what? Well, what? Whatever. But also, Old Fate. Not Old Fate. Fate, a new Star Wars game, is coming out. People were going bananas over that. That was crazy. But yeah, that was it. That was pretty much the Game Awards, and that was kind of like my first talk about. There's a lot of stuff I missed. I just know there is. I just know there is. I know for a fact that there's this whole VTuber drama going on. At least from what I heard at the Game Awards, or at least surrounding Burnt Peanut. Yeah, I don't know what that's about. It's kind of sad. It's like, why are we addressing hate by certain communities? No community deserves hate in a sense, in my opinion. I don't know. It depends on what community, but then again, here we are. Also, yeah, that was the Game Awards. I had to talk about that early. And yeah, also there's this whole Fox situation outside that I'm looking and I'm like, what is happening? Yep, that's it. That is what it is. Other than that, let's talk about God, or at least stuff surrounding it. I know for a fact that I did mention the whole Game Awards having that demon tree that surrounded Divinity in a sense, the game, and there is and people were talking about different stuff like what the tree is surrounded by or where it's from. And I know that this game is very midsummer and what they're trying to share. There are so many aspects of either the Game Awards or certain aspects of artistic decisions nowadays when it comes down to Hollywood music or major stuff or something like that, where it just is demonic. And I'm like, why? Why are you doing this? Especially when it comes down to the Zac Brown band at the Sphere. And if you know, you know. I think there's news about Zac Brown basically, and it was like a cool looking thing, but also very hellish. And there's a part of me that was like, this can't be safe. Does it depict hell in a sense? Yes, of course it does. Like the skeleton floating. And let me tell you, the Sphere is big. People don't understand how big the Sphere is. That is a crazy thing to look at. I remember going to Vegas and seeing that. I'm like, what the heck? That's a big ball. That's a big ball that is just, you show anything on it and it's like, okay, that's a thing. All right. All right, Vegas. I mean, I guarantee that China could be making 10 of those around at least one city in Chongqing or something like that, or Japan. But I gotta say that kind of looks crazy. And yeah, the Zach Brown band performed there, and it was a spectacle. But also, I didn't. I only watched it through TikTok, specifically the part where they show the skeletons, and I'm like, okay, this is weird looking. But he also did a bunch of stuff, like like a Mount Olympus type, or Neptune, like where he holds this freaking, I don't know what it is, man. Greek mythology. Anybody? No one cares. But yeah, that's happening. And is it demonic or not with that skeleton thing or something? There's a part of me where it can be for sure. But I think he's just mainly inspired by just going for the most crazy routes. The thing is that you see this crawl of people just crawling on like the fences of this, like, basically hell, and it's like that's literally hell, and we shouldn't worship hell at all, because then, well, the demons can see us and they'll just cap us at like any choice we can. So and also, like, Zach Brown had this freaking like crown thing or something while he was doing the music bit. I don't know what's happening, man. I don't know. Innocence, and then you sell your soul. It's like, well, God warned us about this. But yeah, moving on. We got some gaming news. Oh, we thought freaking the Game Awards was the gaming news? Nah, playa. We got some gaming news. And specifically about the Canadian A guy. I don't like that name. I wish there was a better way to actually... Like, does he have a real name or not? I don't know the real name. I haven't really watched a lot of his videos unless it's like something about... And he usually makes videos about announcements of, a new Spyro game, a new Crash Bandicoot game. And it's like, well... Where is it? You know what I mean? There was definitely no announcements like that at the Game Awards. So, here we are. And he reacted to Game Awards, but also he's going through a lot. A couple of live streams ago, he talked about, and this is basically pet related, but also it's surrounding a gamer, basically Canadian A guy. And, he is going through a lot. He's a family man, but he also owns a dog. Unfortunately, he doesn't own the dog anymore because apparently his dog was stolen. It was weird. It's like he had the dog, and the thing is that I don't know how this works because I never owned a pet in my life, but I can't imagine having your pet stolen at all by anyone or anything. The thing is that this dog was stolen. It was just... Like, because I don't know how the story goes, basically. I believe somebody was checking the dog or something. It was a stranger. And the specific stranger, we're just going to call this person, woman, man, or whatever, a stranger. Or basically, it's a couple that was really looking at this dog. And it's just one of those stories where I'm like, okay, this is one of those American pastime neighborhood stories that I heard about. Oh, my aunt, well, they were going around trying to get the snake at, you know what I'm saying? I don't know. It just feels like, yeah, these are the type of American stories that I miss sometimes. Like, because some of the craziest stuff just happens like that. But also, when I heard about this, I'm like, this is tragic. This is hard to go through. It's like, I can't imagine, And right now, there's a lot of stories going on, especially in the gaming space, about dogs and what's happening. Like, I remember, shout out to Side Scrollers, Craig lost his dog. He had to put him down. That was emotional, man. I never wish that on anyone at all. Okay, putting your dog down or something, the way he describes it, that's sad, because a lot of times that's kind of like your family. I can only imagine that's like your family, in a sense, your friend. It's kind of like, maybe it's different between me and Stefan. I don't know if I'm having a conversation or doing a podcast with a dog, but losing a dog, losing a cat or whatever, a pet or a bat, I still want a bat as a pet. Okay, I don't care what people say. Vince, that's kind of dark. I was like, no, I want a bat. I want a bat as a pet. Oh man, I really want. Oh, that would be so cool. But no, people would just give me that eye look. I don't care. I want a bat as a pet, okay? Some people have, like, bearded dragons as pets. Geckos, tarantulas. Like, why can I not have a bat, okay? I don't get me started. I know that people are just, never mind. I still stand. I still stand to this day. I want a bat. I know Stefan looked at me like, are you okay, Vince? Are you sure not possessed again? I was like, no, I'm not. Okay, I'm not possessed this time. I want a bat. So God, give me a bat. Oh man, that would be so cool. Just a fruit bat and just feeding bananas on it or something because it likes bananas. Having a blanket over the bat. Oh man, gosh. Hopping it on your head like it's speaking to you. Oh man, yeah, I probably should stop. But the thing is that losing the pet is hard. And, shout out to Craig. Hopefully he's healing. Like, in the way he shared it in his podcast and stuff, I kind of wish there was, like, a bit more focus to it. The thing is that when it comes down to that specific podcast that tries to be serious, it just doesn't, it doesn't add up and feel right. You know what I mean? But because usually it's very funny, quirky jokes and here and there and pretty good, it's especially many bits of like gaming opinions, but the dog thing, yeah, that's hard to go through. And I can imagine losing a dog as well. That's what Canadian A guy has to go through, losing his dog. And because somebody was wanting to check his dog or something and they wanted it, and I don't know what the situation is. The thing is that there's a saying that dog is property basically, and the whole thing with court. And the thing is that a Canadian A guy could easily fight this in court, but the thing is that that's a whole situation that they have, and also takes a lot of money to actually get that running up when it comes down to basically just having your dog stolen, because that's basically what happened. Okay, even though they're checking the dog, they literally sent, like, in the night when Canadian A guy was tucking his kids, because it was like late, it was like nighttime, everyone's about to go to sleep, and out of nowhere the police came, took Canadian A guy's dog away, and I'm like, what? And this is the part of the situation that is so frustrating, because I'm like, so just like that, you couldn't wait until noon, you couldn't wait till morning. No, the police just went up there, and I guarantee they don't, it was not a decision, but they probably have to or something, maybe because they're dealing with a whole bunch of stuff or whatever, I don't know what neighborhood they live in, but they simply had to take his dog away. And it was like this unfair, like, what? Just like that. So basically, just the dog has no idea what's happening. That's what Canadian A guy said. And I don't know, we're just like, scared. Completely scared, and I can imagine why. Especially hearing from Canadian A guy that the dog usually is not this sporadic. It's not this, very loud or something like that. It's usually silent. That's what he said. And then the dog freaking out that's heartbreaking. That's heartbreaking. The moment that you're just like, for instances, like me I'm usually just a calm person. But there's certain things that people say that do get to me because I'm human. Okay, you make allegations about me. You make this about me. You say this about me. I'm going to react. Okay? I'm going to react. And I don't play around with that. At the same time, I never wanted that. No, and that's what I see through the dog. I was like, the dog never wanted this. Like, that's his own owner. But apparently you gotta take him away because some stinking random people that just came up and just stole his dog or something. I don't get it. Never set up your dog or pet for anything when it comes down to visits or having another owner or something like that. That's not like, something you want to do at all. Okay, so in many ways that has to be thievery in a sense, because that's just not like, way to go down like that. Like just like wait till noon. You're not like how do I say this? Like, like pretty much like really aggravating him, because Canadian guy did not fight back. In many ways, he basically complied to the police, and just like that, yeah, that's stuff like this had to happen. So it's sad, man. I can't imagine that because I never owned a pet in my life. But going through that has to suck. It's like, wow. But anyways, yeah, that's what happened. I guess we'll talk about the freaking Miles from Metroid 4. I will almost say Miles Morales. I wish. I wish. So yeah, I'm not gonna go too long about this, but Metroid 4 just came out, or Metroid Prime 4. I never finished. I need to finish Metroid Prime. There's so many games in the GameCube that I do need to finish, and I, especially when it comes to Metroid in a sense, like, yeah, I do need to finish that game for sure. And, you know, I think I was just lost and I completely have no idea. But if I went back to the game, I probably might know where I was before, but at the same time, I could lose my save. So that's another thing to consider. And I'm not looking forward to actually going around the game and like, oh, where was I? Was I here? Was I there? Was I anywhere? I have way too many games to play right now. But there's this whole talk about Metroid Prime 4. And there's no spoilers here, okay? Because I wouldn't want to get spoiled, even though I probably wouldn't care. But Miles and whatever characters, the thing is that this game that was like late, and this is kind of like one of those instances of poor decision when it comes down to story building and making games in itself, is, because where did Miles came from? Where did that random female character came from? Where did these? The thing is that when I think about Metroid, I think about like the silent atmosphere of the game, and I don't think about like just this random people coming in and doing this Marvel humor or whatever. Like, that's not what I think when it comes down to these games. If anything, I think about mostly, just like silent, chill. The atmosphere is basically usually what speaks the loudest when it comes down to it. And maybe there's still some aspects to that. But apparently you have to get a freaking $30 amiibo to freaking unlock some of the music, which also is another thing about the game. It's not looking good. It's not looking good. Nintendo is still the winners of pissing people off because apparently that's what they're good at. That's all they're good at. You know what I mean? It sucks. Like, for crying out loud, Nintendo. Like, I don't have any. That's why I don't have any hopes for the new Mario movie, because I know for a fact that they're gonna F it up. I just know there's gonna be at least something or a million things to be pissed off about, especially with the movie, and I'm trying not to be pissed. I'm trying to enjoy this, but I cannot imagine being a Metroid fan. Like, imagine that with freaking, like, a new Sly Cooper game comes out. I'm still dying that hill. Some people are like, man, forget Sly Cooper, man, forget it. This, listen, there was like talks about it. Okay, I'm just saying, for an example, if another Sly Cooper game, and that just turns into like a Life is Strange game, which would be cool. But also, if it turns into something else that isn't Sly Cooper or what it's known for, with the stealth and everything, that I can't imagine that. Yeah, I wouldn't want that at all. But at the same time, I feel for the fans that look at Metroid. I feel for the fans that, I don't even know about like the new Zelda movie. There is a part of me where that might do well, but then again, I'm not much big into Zelda. And I think Mario is the biggest Nintendo IP that I'm really big into. When it comes to anything else, it's like, I don't know. With Zelda, Metroid, sure, kind of. I mean, I guess in the same equivalent as like, damn, I forget the other IP. I forget the other IP already. Animal Crossing. Yeah, Animal Crossing. Okay. Moving on, let's talk about this. I'm gonna go full Smash JT with this one. I just feel it. But yeah, Anita Sarkeesian is back, and I have nothing against Anita, but from my research and from the looks of who Anita is, like, it's already bad as it can get, because Anita, yeah, is back. Apparently, I don't know how they. Like, if you stop following Anita, it wouldn't seem like she's back, if we gotta be real. But apparently she's back, according to the news. And there is many reasons to be mad at Anita. Like her contribution of making games the way they are. And the thing is that I'm not really used to this conversation about like, women's certain looks, or basically the idea of attractiveness in games. But it comes down to a human sense, and I tend to put things in human sense, but also I tend to keep it to myself. Like, when you're making a movie, anything else, people have the rights to make their character attractive. Again, people have the rights to make their character the way they want to be, and it's not that they want to be unattractive or something. There is this certain. And this is kind of like what I'm worried about when it comes down to Hollywood or something. Is like, is there a part in Hollywood or I don't know, like a criteria or something that you have to uphold, like agenda or whatever that you're trying to fulfill in order to actually get your movie successful, that so that you can eat. Let's be real, so that you can pay bills or something like that. Because it just seems like that. When it comes down to certain media that has these characters that were well established, apparently you have to make them somewhat realish. You have to make them like, less attractive. And it just seems like that, don't it? It just seems like that. I don't want to share it, but it just, there's been characters that are highly well known, and it started this whole conversation of the erasure of attractive characters, basically, in terms of female characters. Because a lot of times, people are either going to buy your game if your character is attractive, because that's one of those aspects, but also people are going to buy your game if the game's good. And I've been hearing things here and there about oh my god, Horizon Zero Dawn, or is it Horizon? Oh my god, I gotta make sure. I'm again, when it comes to these IPs, man, I am not. I'm not the biggest into them. If I, yeah, Horizon, right? Horizon Zero Dawn. You also have other games surrounding Horizon. So basically Horizon, okay? I don't know. Horizon this, Horizon that, the freaking whoever the girl is that is like with the red hair, okay? I'm not rich enough to actually ever own these games. So I honestly I had to research. It's like, is it called Horizon or Horizon? I have to check back at it and I'm like, "Oh, it's Horizon." Okay, I'm just making sure. But yeah, apparently Horizon. I sound like I almost said like Verizon. Horizon Zero Dawn does have like a character that is just not attractive, of course. And there's like this talk about like should it be attractive, should it not, and that's pretty much what Ania Sarkeesian just started. Basically making certain female characters look like this and that, and pretty much putting a stereotype of it. And it has been this divide when it comes down to the gaming community, and pretty much there has been certain divides here and there, but I'm specifically talking about the one where it's about, hey, characters should be attractive, that's how it sells. And also you have the other side, like, no, characters are human just like us, but also it's like they're not, because, well, they're fictional. And what's wrong making them attractive? It doesn't make sense, because I don't know, maybe here in the West that I'm like, listen, I just like looking at attractive people. Is there attractive people around here? Yes, both outside and inside. You're in a diverse country for sure. But a lot of times when I'm just chilling and I don't want to deal with the world. I like to play games. I like to watch certain medias that takes me out of the world, basically out of reality, and being put in a place where it's not of that reality, if you know what I mean. So that's what's going on. Also, she's married to herself. She did a prom to herself, and there's a part of me where I hate that. The amount of entitlement. I was like, what does that mean? Like, the amounts of people, billions of people would have hold your hand, Anita, but apparently, like, you're, oh, I'm married to myself. I'm like, what? I never liked that. I know Pokemon did that when it comes to marrying yourself or something. I don't know what that is. That sounds very Lilith, to be honest. But yeah, that I don't know. I rebuke that. Like, there are so many people, and yet you think that nobody wants you or something because people have different opinions, and that I just can't understand that. No matter who your friends are, no matter who you grow up, they're gonna have opinions that are different from yours. You can't expect that, and that's just entitled. That's just entitlement. Moving on. Netflix bought Warner Bros. So listen, this is a big merge, okay? Because this is what I heard, at least, that Netflix has bought Warner Bros. For, I don't know, said this and that $1 billion. Some people might say million. Listen, whatever is up there, okay? Whatever is up there in space, it's that much. And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of properties. And freaking Netflix just swallowed Warner Bros. It's crazy because I'm like, did Netflix is starting to lose money because it's starting to lose people that are basically paying for the subscription? I guess that doesn't count, especially when you have all this money buying big companies like Warner Bros. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen. But also there's this worry of certain franchises here and there. Netflix buying Warner Bros, especially how that's gonna do for, I don't know, Harry Potter or different other properties that Warner Bros has, Scooby Doo and all that. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like, wow, okay, I guess we're here. Moving on. GameStop banning a customer from their shop. Banning, and pretty much this has gained certain waves, at least in their communities. But for those that don't know, Jacob R is a channel that reviews a lot of tech in terms of like PlayStations, basically old school gaming consoles. Well, not old school, he also like just he buys and sells them. I guess he's a real seller in a ways because he has a lot of freaking systems. There would be one episode and it would just be hundreds of PS3s. I'm like, for crying out loud, dude, where did all these PS3s come from? You just run a factory or whatever, just factory PS3. I need a freaking new PS3. I'm still playing these PS3 games. But yes, you have all these freaking PS3s. It's like all these Xboxes, all these Wii's, all these Wii U's, all these old school gaming systems. And he is a person that basically looks through all of that. Like makes a series called The Texas Hall or whatever. Or different halls from different states in America. And he just talks about these different consoles. And it's like, it's a lot. It's a lot of damn consoles. Like, where the hell did you get all this money? People are just not handing like $100 like freaking candy out here, man. Like he is purchasing, what is that, PS3s like 200 each. So you can imagine like 200 times 100. I'm not gonna do the math. I'm not. That's not my major. But yeah, he just happened to have that many freaking PS3s or many Xbox 360s and so on and so on. And he usually buys that from GameStop. Well, also from other holders that has that around their garage or something like that. But yeah, he also has like those systems that were bought from GameStop. And I guess GameStop banned him or something. I guess they were like, and they banned his like account for everything they try to purchase from it. And technically he's not bad because he still has friends here and there that help him buy the stuff. So that's interesting. But yeah, that's just crazy. It's like you ban the person that is like giving you money, hello, and giving you good like publicity. But why banning? Like GameStop was looking good, and now they just look bad. Just out of nowhere. I don't know. I heard good things about the GameStop awards. I heard that's the thing. I haven't checked it out, but yeah, this is not a good look for GameStop, that's for sure. And we got some leftover news. Apparently, Arrivo and Grande, from Wicked, Arrivo and Cynthia Erivo, and also Ariana Grande. I don't understand the big deal with this freaking movie. I'm gonna be honest. I'm just gonna be honest. But also, they're together, but not. They're like non-demi, curious, semi-binary. What does that mean? What does that mean? Do you ever notice when it comes to the LGBT community that people defend these groups, but they're just not like, they just don't know what it's about. As somebody that was in the LGBT community, I honestly have no idea what the frick that means. Non-demi, non-curious. You're just making words at this point. Can we just have things basically as a simple basis? And that's what the LGBT community needs. Just things in a simple basis. You're either gay, trans, or crying out loud. Like, why do we have to make up a whole entire freaking equation over trivia or whatever? Where does this all came from? I don't care if I get canceled. Like, I just never understand that. Especially when I was in the community. I never understand that. I never understand what an pansexual is. Okay? Whatever, people like to put that, but we're already in a small community. And for some reason, people divide that, like, people are divided in the LGBT community, and this is literally the LGBT community. I was like, okay, you're dividing yourself from the trans. That's, where is the community, eh? And now we got the non-demi, non-curious. Like, why are we adding stuff? Who is the settle and all be all? Who's the inventor of all these things? You know what I'm saying? That don't exist. Anyways, I'll see you when I see one. Little piece of God bless.